My name's Leo and I'm a boat builder and a sailor, and things have changed just a little bit. The last couple of weeks have been a little bit odd, and I'm going to talk more about that later, but for now the big headline is that we've realised we really don't have very long left until we have to leave for Mexico. Now, the last few months of sailing around in British Columbia, we've been having a very nice time. We've been doing quite a lot of maintenance and upkeep on the boat, but we've also been seeing friends, enjoying the scenery. Now, this video shows the tail end of that chapter, but I'm also going to be talking about the minor existential crisis that brought the realization that we really have to get a move on. And I'm going to be talking also about all the jobs we have to do before we leave in just a few weeks. In the last video we ended up at Pirates Cove on Acoustic Island, but after a lot of editing we left in convoy with Will and his boat here and there, en route to the next island, Gabriola. Here we ran into some other YouTubers, and Will took me to the skate park, where I proceeded to embarrass myself and he did some pretty cool tricks. So you may remember a little while ago I was working on the freshwater pumps, and I modified a machine screw to use as a bleed screw for this one, and that did seem to help with the problem, which was that the pumps were losing their prime, but it's still happening, and it started happening more frequently again. And so to investigate, used a bit of plumbing to pressurize the supply side, and I saw that there was air coming out from either side of this filter housing. Well, it's all back together now. I'm pretty cautious about saying that I think I fixed it, because at this point, I think I've said that about 15 times, but we'll see. All I can do now is close it up and wait and see if the pumps lose their prime again. And if they do, I'll continue chasing the problem, but fingers crossed, maybe they won't. Maybe this is it now. Who knows? So obviously we're on the west coast of Canada right now, and our route towards the UK is going to take us down the west coast of North America, Mexico, and through the Panama Canal. Now there's a few things to take into consideration when planning a trip like this. Firstly, the west coast of the USA is a very notorious coastline with not many places to shelter, and most of the harbours there are accessed via a river bar, which is completely inaccessible in bad weather. So unless you're planning to hop from harbour to harbour in good weather, you sort of have to be ready to go offshore and weather out any storms that come. Now, in the summer months, hurricanes occur in the tropics, including on the west coast of Mexico, and that's why we haven't gone down there already. We don't want to be down there in the summer when it's too hot and there's a real risk of hurricanes. However, if we leave here too late, the weather off the coast of Canada and the United States becomes less settled and more prone to autumnal storms. Also, leaving later gives us less time for the rest of the trip. We have to pass through Mexico, Panama Canal, and the Caribbean and head north, all before the next hurricane season starts in late spring. On balance, we've decided that leaving this area in early August will give us the best chance of having good weather for the passage south, and should mean that we'll arrive in Mexico late enough to miss the worst of the hurricane season, but early enough to have time to explore the Sea of Cortez a little bit on our way south. and we may well stop once or twice on the west coast of the States as well. It all depends how the weather is and how the passage is going. After leaving Gabriola, we headed west and north, crossing the Strait of Georgia and stopping at a beautiful island called Jedediah. After that, heading towards the mainland, we were lucky enough to come across a colony of sea lions. I'm going to go dive because there's some problem with the water maker. We normally run it every day to stop bacterial growth in the filters, and when we were running it last night, making water for our tanks, it just stopped running. It sounded like something had blocked the water intake where it sucks the seawater in. The sea strainer was clear, and so I'm going to go over the side and check if something is just physically blocking the skin fitting before I got to sort of do any plumbing in here. I'll go check that first. This is not an elegant maneuver.
How's the water?
Fine, I'm warm in here. Found it. Pretty bad visibility down there. I guess I better do some scrubbing. Hey, you splashed me. Alright, well I'm dry and warm now, and it's time to see if that worked, see if the water maker can pull the seawater in now that is unblocked hopefully. So I'm going to open the valve and turn on one of the pumps. And that looks good. I can hear from the noise of the pump and see from the gauge that seawater is flowing through, so that's really great. This water maker, if anyone that's not familiar, it basically desalinates seawater. It pushes it through a very, very fine membrane that's in here. There's a high pressure pump in this bit, and we can make about 10 to 15 gallons an hour of completely pure fresh water, so really useful. It does look like a little bit of seaweed is coming through and getting stuck in the sea strainer now, probably a little bit that I couldn't quite pull out, maybe it ripped off in there, so I am going to open this up and clean it out now. Of course, you probably know that I'm trying to get Tally-Ho back to the UK for the 2027 Fastnet, but there is another reason why we're trying to get back relatively soon and not taking the long way around the world. I've been living outside the UK since 2014 when I sailed south, and it's been much longer than I had ever intended. Right now, I feel quite a strong need, a desire to go back there and spend some time there, be around old friends and family. Last week, it hit pretty hard, and I really started thinking, what am I doing? Do I really want to be living on a boat? Do I really want to be doing the YouTube thing? What am I doing with my life? Standard kind of stuff. Because although I'm very fortunate and I have an amazing situation, I also sometimes feel a little bit trapped in it, as you can maybe imagine. Now it got to the point where I really allowed myself to consider doing something else. And when I did that and really thought about it, things shifted and I realized that I really, really do want to sail this boat home. And after that point, it no longer has been feeling like an obligation. It's been feeling like something that I really want to do and a choice. So after a few days of some good sailing, we've ended up in a small place called Egmont, which is a little village on the Sunshine Coast of BC, so we are on the mainland. And we've come up here and tied to the dock because there's road access and we need to drop off and pick up some friends. One of the small maintenance jobs I did while we were in Egmont was just to seal and treat some of the small cracks or checks in the bowsprit. The bowsprit is the only spar that is made of a solid piece of timber and not laminated, and as such it's a little bit less stable and a little bit prone to checking. Putting a little bit of pine tar into the checking and then some dolphinite on top will hopefully prevent any more fresh water getting in and rotting the bowsprit from the inside. At some point soon I need to put a few more coats of varnish on the top of the bowsprit to finish it off. Shortly after that, our friend Nick arrived, who you may remember from last summer when he was cruising around with us in his own beautiful wooden boat, Argonaut 2.
Barely made it.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Long drive, a couple of ferries, and some windy roads, which were beautiful to drive, but started having some warpy brake issues in the last hour or so.
What's that you got, Will?
Safety rock. Oh.
This is boat building at its finest.
Boat building at its finest. I mean, it's almost classic.
I'd help, but I'm really busy holding this iPhone.
Righty-tighty on the lug nuts. One of two remaining hubcaps on the car.
Sweet, you all fixed, Nick?
All ready to go.
So this video is being released on the 21st of June and we're heading out into the open Pacific towards Mexico during the first or second week of August. Now this gives us only 7 weeks from now and that's only 4 videos, and we've got a big job list between now and then, including designing and making storm sails for the boat. We've got to strengthen the boom crutch for use in heavy weather. We've got to install lee cloths so the crew don't fall out of their bunks. We've got to leather all the mast hoops and some of the blocks. I want to install a smaller Starlink dish aloft in the rig, and I've got to get a bronze toggle made for the bobstay fitting, and many other jobs, not to mention all the regular maintenance that a wooden boat like Tally-Ho needs, and of course making the videos, which takes up several days a week. Hopefully we'll still have a little bit of time to enjoy the scenery around here as we have been doing in this video, but mainly we're going to be hard at work. So we're on our way to Skookumchuck Rapids, or Narrows, which is a big tidal race, apparently the second fastest tidal race in the world. It gets up to 16 knots.
Life in the fast lane.
Will over here is playing the sander in harmony with the fiddle. Oh look, it's Nick.
Creating good habits, varnishing habits.
Nick had to head back to Seattle, and Marit also had to head back to the States for a couple of gigs. So he went back to Egmont and they piled into Nick's newly functioning car. Give us a wave.
Ciao. See you guys.
Recently, as part of my minor existential crisis, I felt a renewed sense of appreciation and gratitude for where I am in life, what I'm doing, and for the many, many amazing people who have helped me get here. Now, I love living like this, and although it is a huge amount of work to keep a boat like this maintained and to keep making these videos, I really love being able to share this life with an audience, and I want to keep on doing it if I can. Making these videos is my only income, it is my job, so if it gives you some joy, some satisfaction, some distraction, some inspiration, then please consider supporting the channel via Patreon. You can also help though by sharing this channel with anyone you think might enjoy it, and of course by liking and subscribing and all that normal good stuff. Now finally, thank you so much to all the incredible people who have helped support this channel through the rebuilding of Tally-Ho and through the maintenance and sailing. It makes a huge difference. It makes it possible for us to keep going, keep doing what we do, and I really, really appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Cheers.